Revenge films.
My wife cheated on me. The reason I found out was that the wife of my wife's lover contacted me with all the evidence and informed me that her husband and my wife were having an affair. At that time, I was living together with my wife, our 5-year-old daughter, and a 3-year-old son. The 4 of us were living happily together as a family. Of course, at first I didn't believe that my wife was having an affair, but the evidence spoke for itself. Then, thinking the rumors might be true, I looked into the savings and other things I usually leave to my wife. Then, just as I expected, I found out that my wife gave the inheritance she got from her parents, my secret savings, and bonus savings to her lover. Also, I found a mother-child handbook hidden in the back of the wardrobe, and found out that she's 3 months pregnant. Come to think of it, she's been turning me down for months now. What's more is that her lover made his wife work while he went out to gamble. I heard from his wife that they are knee-deep in debt. My wife gave her parents' inheritance and my savings to that gambler lover of hers. Of course, there was no way I was gonna forgive her, so I grilled her with questions. Then,
ever since I met him, I felt a thrill that I had forgotten.
she was really drunk in love with her lover. And while touching her stomach happily, she uttered,
Besides, I have a child with the man in my stomach. We've been trying for about a year now, but we couldn't make a baby, so this baby inside me is connected to that man in me.
She said that in an entranced state. When I heard those words going out of her mouth, I thought that I couldn't handle it anymore, so I contacted my parents-in-law. My parents-in-law flew from the other side of the country, and my wife got a big slap on her cheek. What in the world are you thinking? How peaceful do you think you're doing thanks to Joshua? You even have 2 children with him. What are you dissatisfied about, stupid?
A peaceful life is boring. Thanks for meeting that man. I am now living every day like I'm in heaven. I can't go back to the time before that man and I met.
What a stupid daughter! My father-in-law slapped her again to make her see the reality, but my wife continued to be in a daze. My mother-in-law apologized on their daughter's behalf.
Joshua, I'm truly sorry for the behavior of my daughter. I will apologize on her behalf. I'm very sorry for what she has done.
Honestly, just because my parents-in-law apologized to me doesn't mean the situation has changed. That man's baby resides in the stomach of my wife. With that crazy situation, I can't continue living under the same roof as my wife. I had no other choice but to file for divorce and give up on our marriage. Whatever you say, things won't change. The reality is that your daughter betrayed me and our children, so I will file for divorce. Of course, I will demand alimony from her, and I won't leave our children to her care. But, so does that mean we won't see my grandchildren anymore? Yes, that's exactly what it means. Since it has come to this, I don't want to get involved with my wife anymore.
What? Oh, no.
My parents-in-law were shedding tears, but they're not the only ones who were able to keep up with a situation that suddenly robbed them of happiness. I too am in the same situation as them. However, since we have children and I need to be strong for them, I was just acting like I was calm on the outside. But deep inside, I felt like my world was falling apart. When my wife said,
I am going to give birth to that man's child, you know. I, of course, need to rest and take care of my body for the child. So I don't have the means to pay for alimony. I'll give the children to you, so no need to pay alimony to you, right?
I was deeply enraged that I felt like wanting to crack her head open and shove sense into it. Listen! Children are not things, and they're not compensation for alimony. You betrayed us, your family, and we have every right to claim alimony. Then my father-in-law added to what I said. You betrayed Joshua and your children! There's no way this selfishness can be forgiven!
So, are you saying that I should just leave the baby in my stomach to die? If I force myself to work and end up having a miscarriage, I'm going to demand alimony from you. $1 billion!
Stupid! Do you even understand what you're saying? Your affair started all this problem! Toward the end, my in-laws were so pissed at my wife that it was pandemonium. In the end, my in-laws ended up paying for the alimony for now, and they'll collect money from their daughter afterwards. Then my wife and I got a divorce, and I got custody of the children. Our children are still very young and couldn't stay home by themselves without adult supervision. So I hired a nanny to send them to and from the kindergarten and take care of them until I get home. It was the first for me to hire a nanny, so I was worried if things would be alright, but the nanny was very kind and looked like a good person. The children also seemed to like her immediately, so I was able to concentrate on my work to support my 2 children. My wife was suddenly out of the picture, so I was very worried about my children and how to go about things, but thanks to the nanny, our house was always clean. Excuse me? Cleaning the house is not part of the job description, so the pay is only for babysitting.
No, it's fine. I'm just doing it when I have the time. I'm sorry, I did say something without your permission.
No, you don't have to be sorry. I'm truly thankful to you. Whenever I come home, the house is always clean and you even cook for us. I didn't ask you to do all this, so I'm sorry.
I'm also cooking for myself, so please, keep this a secret from my boss.
Sure, my mouth is zipped and your secret is safe with me. I don't know anything about cooking, so could you please hand me the receipt if you go out to the grocery store with the kids?
Sure. So, is there anything you would like me to cook? You're always working so very hard, so would you like me to cook something healthy?
Well then, could you please cook me some roasted salmon with some vegetables on the side? I love that simple dish.
Got it. Your order has been heard.
While I was living a fulfilling life every day with the children, I received information about my ex-wife from my relatives. During that time, my ex-wife's belly grew bigger and bigger. My ex-in-laws told her to have an abortion, but since she was told by the father of the baby that they'll receive funds from the government, she gave birth to the child. I heard that after her lover got divorced from his wife, they lived in together. However, the man lied that he was working for a company, but the truth was that he was living under public assistance. My ex-wife found that out, and they fought almost every day. Their neighbors heard them yelling at each other in their houses, and the sound of plates breaking as the fight escalated. Even in that situation, her lover continued to gamble. Before they knew it, they were out of money. Both of them still had alimony to pay to me and the man's ex-wife, so their financial situation worsened even more. One day, a baby's cries were heard from their house, so the neighbors called the cops to check what was happening. Then, the cops found a baby alone inside the room. It was a very hot summer day, so the couple left the windows open. Despite that, the room was filled with very hot air. The cops immediately called an ambulance, and the baby was directly brought to the hospital to be checked. Then, my in-laws received a call from the hospital. During that time, the baby's father won the lottery, so he and my ex-wife went out to eat. He even said, "The baby's always crying! So noisy! Just leave her in the house! She won't die if we just keep the windows open!" It was already past midnight when they arrived home. That's because after they ate out, they went straight to the hotel. Of course, the 2 of them were arrested immediately. They argued like, "The baby didn't die, so it's not a problem!" But I honestly think they should go to hell for treating a baby like that. Thankfully, the baby was alright. But since my ex-in-laws were already quite old, the baby was taken to an orphanage. The head of the orphanage is very good at taking care of children, so I'm sure the baby will grow up happily, as opposed to growing up in the hands of my stupid ex-wife and her lover. That's also the reason why my ex-in-laws decided to leave the baby under the orphanage's care. No matter who the baby's father is, that baby is still their grandchild, so they care so much. They can't meet with my children, so at least they have a grandchild they can meet. This happened a bit later on, but I heard that my ex-in-laws visit their youngest grandchild in the orphanage from time to time. I believe that the baby will be fine because there are people who love her unconditionally. As for me, after all that drama happening in my life, I had more time to communicate with the children's nanny. We ended up falling for each other and we started dating. I can't be in a relationship with someone without thinking of the future. It'll also be for the kids. I'm thinking about marriage in the future. Are you okay with that?
Of course, yes.
Leslie replied happily. 2 years after that, Leslie and I got married and we were blessed with a baby the next year. Our children, who used to be 5 years old and 3 years old, are now big brothers and big sisters to the baby. They welcome the new member of the family with open arms and even help out taking care of the baby. The 5 of us are now living happily.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.